So the next type of influence line diagram we are going to draw for a simply supported beam is the influence line diagram for shear force at C. So again consider the simply supported beam AB, and we are going to consider a point C on the beam which is at a distance Z from the support A. And we are going to draw the influence line diagram for shear force at this point C on the simply supported beam AB. Once again, we are going to draw the influence line diagram for shear force at C. So our concentration will be on the value of shear force at C, because we are going to draw the influence line diagram for the shear force at C. C is nothing but a point on the simply supported beam AB which is at a distance Z from the support A. So again, just imagine a unit load is moving from left to right, from A to B on the beam. In this problem, we have two cases actually. When the unit load moves in between A and C, that is the first case. And the second case is when the unit load is in a position between C and B. So the two cases are when X is less than Z, which means the unit load is between A and C, and when X is greater than Z, when the unit load is between Z and B, or when the unit load crosses the point C. These are the two cases to be considered in this problem. So in the first case, when X is less than Z, or as in the figure, when X is less than Z, in the figure, in this figure X is less than Z, or the unit load is in between A and C. As we are going drawing the influence line diagram for shear force at C, our only thing we have to calculate is the shear force at C, nothing else. In any case, we have to just calculate the shear force at C. So the first case is when X is less than Z, or as in the figure, when the unit load is in between A and C, what is the shear force at C? You can take the shear force either from this side or this side. You already know how to calculate the shear force at any point on the beam. So in this case, either you can take the shear force at C is equal to RA minus 1, or from this side if you take, the shear force at C will be minus RB. So in this problem they have taken minus RB, or if you take from this side, the shear force at C will be RA minus 1, or from this side if you take, the shear force at C is equal to minus RB. Either way you can take, both the answers are correct, but you can take only from one side. So here they have taken as the shear force at C is equal to minus RB, or from this side we have to calculate only, consider only one reaction, that is why they have taken from this side. So shear force at C is equal to minus RB. We have already calculated the value of RB in the last ILD. So RB is equal to X by L, or from this figure only we can take RA plus RB is equal to 1, and if you take moment about A is equal to 0, RB into L is equal to 1 into X. So RB is equal to X by L, and here the shear force at C is equal to minus RB if you take from the right side of the section. Section is the point is C, then if you take the right side of the section, shear force at C is equal to minus RB, so minus x by L. So minus x by L is the value of shear force at C. The first case we have considered is when x is less than z, or x is between A and C, the value of shear force at C is equal to minus x by L. This is what we have just calculated. So shear force at C is equal to minus x by L when x is less than z. And what are the conditions to be applied here? You know that here the unit load is moving from A to C. In this case, the unit load is moving from A to C. So when x is equal to 0 to x is equal to z, that is the boundary conditions to be considered here. So when x is equal to 0, shear force at C is equal to 0, because minus x by L, which means minus 0 by L. So when x is equal to 0, shear force at C is equal to 0. So the next condition, next boundary condition is when the unit load reaches this point, or when x is equal to z. When x is equal to z, FC, or shear force at C, is equal to minus z by L when you substitute the value of x equal to z. So at x is equal to 0, shear force at C is equal to 0, and at x is equal to z, shear force is equal to minus z by L. So now we understood the variation of shear force at C in between A and C. In between from A to C, now we know the variation of shear force at C. Next is a condition when x is equal to greater than z, or when the moving load is moving from C to B. The figure is not given for that condition when x is equal to z. Just imagine, just take the unit load from this position to here, and just imagine when the unit load is at a distance more than z. What is the shear force at C? The shear force at C is equal to, you can once again you can take the shear force from any of the sides, but if you take from the left side, shear force at C is equal to RA. Or if you take from the right side, the shear force at C will be equal to 1 minus RB. In any way you can find out the shear force at C. So in the condition, just imagine the figure which is not given. The unit load crossing the point C, just the unit load is beyond in between C and B. Then the shear force at C is equal to RA. We know the value of RA, L minus x by L. And the boundary conditions are, this condition is valid from Z to L. We know that when x is greater than z, this condition is valid from Z to L, which means C to B. That is the condition we have considered when the unit load is moving from C to B, or from Z to L. So when x is equal to z and when x is equal to L are the conditions, boundary conditions. So when x is equal to z, shear force at C is equal to L minus z by L. We have to just substitute z instead of x here. So when x is equal to z, shear force at C is equal to L minus z by L. And when x is equal to L, or when the unit load is at B, x is equal to L, then L minus L by L is the value of shear force at C, and that is equal to 0. Once again, when x is equal to z, which means when the unit load is at C, shear force at C is equal to L minus Z by L, and when X is equal to L, or when X is equal to, or the unit load reaches the point B, shear force at C is equal to 0. So all these values we can put in a single figure and draw the influence line diagram for shear force at C. So the first condition was when X is equal to 0, F is equal to 0. When X is equal to 0, shear force at C is equal to 0, that is the ordinate at A. So now next condition is when X is equal to Z, or at C, shear force at C is equal to minus Z by L. So as it is minus Z by L, we are taking it in the other direction, so negative direction. So Z by L, need not put minus Z by L, as already we are drawing it to downwards. So minus Z by L. So this is the ordinate Z by L in the negative direction when X is equal to Z, or at C. At C, shear force at C is equal to minus Z by L, that is this ordinate. And in the next condition, when X is equal to Z, again at X is equal to Z, shear force at C equal to L minus Z by L, that is this ordinate. And when X is equal to L, shear force at C is equal to 0, or at B, shear force at C is equal to 0, which means 0 ordinate. So connect all the ordinates and draw the influence line diagram for shear force at C. Next we are going to draw the influence line diagram for bending moment at C for the simply supported beam. Again consider the same simply supported beam AB, and this is the point C, which is at a distance Z from A. So we are going to consider, or we are going to draw the influence line diagram for bending moment at C. We are just, our concentration is only the moment at C. We are going to draw the influence line diagram for moment at C. Again we have to consider the two cases when the unit load is moving from A to C and C to B separately as two cases, and in both the cases we have to just calculate the bending moment at C. So in the first case, when X is less than Z, which means the unit load is between A and C. The unit load is somewhere between A and C, or as in this figure, the unit load is between A and C. Now the our only concentration is the moment at C. So the moment at C here in this case, or in the first case when X is less than Z, or as in the figure, moment at C you can take either from the left side or the right side. So in this case, taking from the right side is easy because we need to just consider this force RB. So the moment at C is equal to RB into L minus Z. Distance between C and B is L minus Z. So RB into L minus C is the moment at C. So we know the value of RB already, it is X by L, or we can just calculate from this figure. So moment at C is equal to X by L into L minus Z. RB into L minus Z, RB is equal to X by L. So moment at C is equal to X by L into L minus Z. And the boundary conditions are X is equal to 0 and X is equal to Z, because our case is when the unit load is between A and C, which means X varies from X is equal to 0 to X is equal to Z. So when X is equal to 0, in this equation just substitute X is equal to 0, moment at C is equal to 0. And when x is equal to z, substitute the value of the value z for x. So the moment at C, when x is equal to z, the moment at C is equal to z by L into L minus z, or z into L minus z by L. And the next case is when x is greater than z, or the unit load is between C and B. When the unit load crosses this point, the figure is not given in this, just imagine the unit load, take the unit load from this point to somewhere here between C and B. If the unit load is here, what is the moment at C? You can easily take the moment at C from the left side, because there is only one force we have to consider, it is Ra. So Ra into Z is the moment at C when x is greater than z. So moment at C is equal to Ra into z. So we know the value of Ra already, or we can calculate from the figure. Ra plus Rb is equal to 1, and moment about B if you take, you get the value of Ra. So Ra is nothing but L minus x by L. So here the moment about C when x is greater than C is z. Moment at C when x is greater than z is equal to Ra into z, or L minus x by L into z. And the boundary conditions are x varies from z to L. X varies from C to B, which means x varies from z to L. So when x is equal to z, what is the value of MC? Moment about C is equal to L minus z into L minus z by L. Just substitute z instead of x. And when x is equal to L, just substitute x is equal to L, then L minus L by L into z, which means moment at C is equal to 0 when x is equal to L. So when you combine all these conditions, we can complete the influence line diagram for moment at C. And when x is equal to 0, moment at C is equal to 0, that is the ordinate at A. When x is equal to z, the moment about C is equal to z into L minus z by L, that is the ordinate at C. And again here in the second case also, moment about C is equal to z into L minus z by L, that is this ordinate again. And the last case, when x is equal to L, moment about C is equal to 0, that is the 0 ordinate at B. So these are the influence line diagrams we are going drawing for simply supported beams.